Solomon was providing nuggets of wisdom that I believe every single human being needs to grasp, because it's going to affect some part of your life. And one thing I love about the Proverbs is that they're so real and practical. We're actually taking the time to go through this first chapter of Proverbs and look at what Solomon was actually dealing with and what he was talking to us about and how it affects our lives in very specific ways. Enigmas in life are what stopped a lot of young people, a lot of people to this very day. Enigmas and riddles, they stop everything. Wow. Enigmas. A riddle can help you through your own thought process to see another point of view. So riddles are not all negative. Sometimes riddles are used. It's a question that's posed in such a way as to make you and me think about this and see it from a different point of view. A riddle also, on the negative side, can shake your basic beliefs and understanding about yourself or your life. Isn't that something? I'll give you an example of maybe a classic riddle. Comes from science and physics and all that kind of stuff. They say, if a tree falls in the forest, does it make a sound? And so most of us would say, of course it does. Well, how do you know? You weren't there to hear it. See, that's a riddle. You can't answer it. As soon as they say, how do you know? So you will go all into the laws of physics and everything, and when it hits the ground, the sound's going to be made. And so that takes you to a whole nother philosophy. If no one is there to hear a sound, how do you know that it made a sound? Then you get into some real philosophical stuff. If you're not there, how do you know anything is there if you're not there to know if it is there? If some of you have ever taken any philosophy courses, you know it gets that deep. But all of that is part of riddles, enigmas, questions that start making you think about life and circumstances and situations from a different point of view. Interesting enough, in Luke, this 22nd chapter, verse 31, I want to read this for you. And the Lord said, Simon, Simon, this was Jesus talking to Peter. And the Lord said, Simon, Simon, indeed, Satan has asked for you that he may sift you as wheat. Did you know that one of the figurative meanings of the word sift is riddle? So Jesus was literally telling Peter, Satan has asked that he may riddle with you. Just keep firing question after question after question. As we all know, that's exactly what Peter went through as he watched Jesus go through the trial. And here is Jesus, who they were all expecting, because they had always been taught that when the Messiah comes, he's going to overthrow all their enemies. Well, he's now watching the one that we all believe. This is Jesus. Peter even said it. You are the Christ, the Son of the living God. Flesh and blood has not revealed this unto you. But so here's the same Peter. Oh, it's been revealed. I know this is God in the flesh. And now he's being riddled with, because he's watching Jesus on trial and he's not defending himself and he's not doing all the stuff that we thought he was going to do. So now he's being riddled with, is he really Jesus? Is this really who he says it is? And the Lord said, and Satan asked that he can do it. Sift you. My dad used to work, he retired from Pillsbury. Y'all know Pillsbury Doughboy? You know, the boy, little kid, little thing got poked. My dad worked for Pillsbury for many, many years. He retired from there. And one of the things that they would do, his job was to unload the trucks with this big machine that brought in the tons and tons of wheat. And they would dump all of this stuff into a sifter, huge, gigantic machine that did nothing but sift. And it shook violently, his machine, because it was sifting all of the chaff from the wheat, violently shaking to get rid of all of the chaff and even bugs and insects. that get caught up in the wheat. So here is the Lord saying to Simon Peter, I'm going to let the devil shake you. Anybody ever been through the shaking? And it kind of sounds like this. God, why are you letting this happen to me? While you're getting shaken. The effects of riddles can be seen in other definitions because it literally means to shake, to quiver, to vibrate, or to rock to and fro. These tough questions that come at me and you, they draw you into conclusions and reasonings that shake you or they rock you. Woo! Foundation shaking riddles. Foundation shaking riddles hit us when tragedies like the earthquake in Haiti come into our lives. Why did God let this happen? See, that's kind of riddles that come. Why did God let this happen? How do you know you won't be next? Woo! Disappointments, devastations, decisions, and destiny, I call this. Riddles usually follow disappointments and devastation in our own lives. Devastating disappointment usually involve something we believe God could have or should have changed, or at least prevented it. Devastating disappointment. What has happened in your life? Not just one time. That's the thing about disappointments. It ain't just one time. It ain't just every, just no. There have been many disappointments along the way. And a lot of times the reason why we are so shaken is because we believe. In fact, we know God could have. And some step to the next level and go, and you should have. You should have changed this. Or you could have prevented this. This is often the thoughts that you go through, especially when a loved one dies. Especially when a loved one dies. God, you could have, you should have prevented this, because we've been taught for years, you're a healer. You raised Lazarus. You've done miracles for other family members. I know, and I've watched you do powerful things. So the riddle is, why didn't you do it in this situation? I think I got everybody's attention now.